Welcome to the Chief Endurance Officer Podcast. I'm your host, Greg McDonough. Each week, we hear real-time stories from athletes and CEOs on how to maximize performance through an endurance mindset. Let's get started. Welcome to the Chief Endurance Officer Podcast. I'm your host, Greg McDonough. Today's guest is an addicted long-distance triathlete completing 2 full-distance, 2 half-distances, and is currently training for Ironman California. He is the founder and managing director of Only Earth, a food and beverage company based out of Singapore. Please welcome Kunal Mutha. Welcome, Kunal.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
It's great to have you on the show. So let's dive right in. Um, on this podcast, we talk about endurance and the mindset required. And so, Kunal, I'd love to know how your endurance mindset has affected your life unexpectedly.
My life has really transformed in every aspect, I would say. That's why I'm sort of addicted to it, because I think each year that I've participated in the race, I think it's taught me something new. It's helped me in every aspect of life, as I said. I think be it the mindset itself. Each race, I feel it's like an MBA, right? I think it teaches you so many things. It's given me so many life lessons, like how not to give up, how to be patient, how not to panic, how to expect challenges, most importantly, and nothing sail through it. I've started looking at life as a race. You set goals that you want to achieve, and you break them down just like you do, Ironman race. I think you sign up for a race and then, have a training plan for 6 or 8 months. So similarly, I think even for my business, I've got a revenue goal for the next 5 years, and then I've broken it down to each year. And I realized the importance how you need to, achieve the smaller goals to achieve the larger goals, similar to the race again. So the whole perspective has changed, about how things work, and everything is possible. There's nothing impossible out of reach. Especially for me, I have no sports background. I picked this up just about 4 years back, and prior to 4 years, I think I wouldn't have even run a 5 kilometer run. Picking up from there, starting from scratch, and coming this far, it's all about mindset. I realize, even the race, I think physically you can train your body, but on that day, I think if you're not mentally up for it, I think it's mostly a mental game, right? So the mindset has changed in a big way. And another aspect of life is really helped me is the work-life balance. A lot of people think, where do you get time? Because you work, you're managing a new business, you've got family, you've got so many social commitments. But what has happened is, over the last couple of years since I got into doing triathlons, uh, it's decluttered my life. It's set right priorities for me. There is enough time, among all of us. It's just that you need to prioritize what is important to you. And for me, this has been an importance. Training has been an importance. So, this has taken over some of the time, which was probably not so important, which I realized later. So I think over the years, I think I've just laid importance on my training, which is my passion, and work, of course, and family. I think these three aspects, it got revealed that these were the three most important pillars of my life, and this is where all my time is going. So that's how I could find enough time. And yeah, I think health as well. Health has been a big transformation. I'm asthmatic. Even today, I need my inhalers, I think, every day. But the frequency has come down significantly. And I've been asthmatic for maybe about 10 to 15 years. But I always thought, maybe I have a limitation that I would never be able to do anything challenging. And so I've come over that, mental barrier in my head that, no matter what issues you've got with yourself, I think you can really deal with it. So I've been dealing with my asthma, I think, and still continuing to go strong. I had palpitation in my heart. This was, again, prior to getting into this. I had to do a check with one of the doctors to certify that I'm safe to train for such a challenge. So yeah, that's sort of disappeared, I think, because of my focus on nutrition and the sports as such. So yep, I think so many positive effects. I think, I've got a lot to share, but I think I can only be grateful for this happening to me.
That's awesome. I love the stories, and I completely relate, especially to the time management. And we can get into that shortly. But I wanted to explore a little bit deeper You mentioned it twice around limitations and not thinking this was possible, right? This long distance triathlon for you was a possibility. Walk us through when that mind when your mind shifted, like from the day that you signed up and you're sitting there going, you know what, there's still no way I'm going to get to the finish line, and then you start your training program. At some point in time, you must have realized, you know what, I can do this. Talk us through that. Like when did that happen for you?
Yes, I think the first two races that I did were the half distance Ironman, and I think each of the race had its own challenges. Like the first race, I had an accident. I fell off the off the bike, and I was bleeding terribly. Even the support station, they didn't have enough first aid to really take care of it, but I was bleeding, and uh, even after getting to finishing my bike course, I had a half marathon to run, and I didn't know how I did it. I just wanted to get to the finish line. It's worked for me. Is thinking about the goal. Thinking that I'm already at the finish line. I practice this before each race. Uh, I meditate, and I feel how the atmosphere is when I'm at the finish line. I'm receiving the medal. So I think when you practice looking at what you want to achieve, that makes half things easy. I mean, that's really takes you up. Even after that race, I was on wheelchair for about 3 days. Uh, I mean, I can walk, but I didn't know how I ran that half marathon. So it's all about the mental strength. I mean, if you can really think you can do it, then you're halfway there. So that's the beauty about training your brain. And I've set up a goal for myself that I've done 2 full Ironmans. I want to do 10. Why 10? Because I realize my 10 years. I'm about 37, and till 45 is my peak period when I want to really peak at my business, my health, every aspect of my life. And I've already seen my last 2 years have been fabulous. So uh, I want to I signed this up because the 6 months of work which goes up in this, it's amazing to feel your peak
Mm.
health. You're just waking up, running a marathon. I mean, the training is the difficult part, but that's the beauty of it. It really tested you as a person.
Kunal, you mentioned meditation and visualization, visualizing yourself at the finish line. Um, Talk to me about your practice, your meditation practice. Are there certain things that you do, certain routines, frequencies? Can we talk a little bit about your meditation practice?
Yep. So I mean, every day I literally post the workout. Mostly, I after the cool down, I think I spend some time just closing my eyes and thinking of things that I'm grateful for. Most importantly, because that I feel it's been it brings in happiness for me, and also then I visualize on things that I want, which I am aiming to achieve. For example, the Ironman California that I've signed for in October, I'm already thinking of it. I'm already thinking of the medal. I'm already thinking that medal is already made for me. I need to go get it, get to the finish line. And so it's been quite amazing. And I think it gets very emotional closer to the race, especially few days before the race. I think, I remember, I think every time I meditated, I've been in tears because I think it brings on a lot of emotions.
Mm.
This is not easy, right? I think you're all alone in this journey. Because you're training alone. You don't. It's very difficult to find a companion. I think in this part of the world because the sport isn't that popular. So you're waking up early mornings. You're having 4 a.m. mornings, literally every day. You're going. I mean, so there are, I can't just get out and ride here. I need to put my bike in the car, go about and half an hour away into a lonely road, be all alone. So I think that makes the journey quite amazing. I mean, you need to really push yourself uh, to make things happen. So I think and I think the visualization, as I said, it's been. I think over the time I've realized it's the most important thing, which it makes you. Uh, really, makes your half work half easy, because you're already thinking, you're already training your brain that you're capable to do it. I mean, that's nothing else. I mean, at least for me, nothing else that can really train your brain, but you're already seeing images where you're having flashes in front of you and thinking of it very frequently. So that does the job, I mean, it's on the day.
That's really well said. Um, Rewinding a little bit, why Ironman? Why long distance triathlon? Tell us that story of when you decided that this is something you wanted to achieve. You mentioned you barely were doing a 5K, and now you're doing these full distance triathlon. Talk to us again about that day that you said, you know what, this is something I want to try. Like, what was the motivation? What triggered the inspiration?
Yep. So I think uh, it's been it's quite funny how I got here. I never knew what an Ironman is. So I was living a very sedentary, I had a sedentary lifestyle. I was traveling 4 hours a day on the wheels to my manufacturing. I was into manufacturing business prior to that, and I'd put on a lot of weight, and I was not really happy with what I was doing. And I'd signed up for a trek in the Nepal called Annapurna Base Camp. It's one of challenging treks. I came across a documentary on Discovery, and I saw it. Michael Pollan, who was the one who traveled all around Himalayas, and I was like, let me sign up for it and probably bring in some change. I mean, sign up for a challenge, and that didn't happen because of the work was hectic. But I prepared for it, and I got a bit fitter, and I was feeling great for first time. I mean, I've actually focused on my health, and I did. And then uh, I was still fascinated by the mountains. That I mean, there's something about mountains that still fascinates me. And then I came across so I mean, I was following a lot of people on social media, on people who climbed Everest, who have climbed all the the high mountains, and then came and I was wondering, I mean, how do I get there? How do I also build my strength and endurance to climb mountains? Uh, and I came across an amputee who had climbed Everest. And while I was reading his story, it was mentioned. I mean, he had shared that he built his endurance by doing Ironmans, and that's how I got to know what an Ironman is. I googled about it, and I looked for a coach, for triathlon, and I came across somebody. So that's how it is. I think I still have love for the mountains. I just climbed Kilimanjaro 6 months ago. It was my first trek. I think I've never been on the mountain, but I think it was quite amazing to finally get on the mountain, which led me here. But I think I'm sort of, this is my happy spot. It started from mountaineering, but I really want to improve my game at triathlons. I think this is become my mountaineering. I feel I want to become a better athlete with every race. And I think I can do it. I mean, that's the belief has been there after doing each race that, and it's inspiring, right? You see thousands of other athletes next to you, and you're from doing, not being able to run even a 5K to being able to participate in competitive sports. So that's quite, encouraging for me. And so, yeah, I think that's been the journey. And I think as I said, I think I wish to continue this because it's giving me back more than, I mean, what I'm getting from.
I love it. I love it. Um, you'd mentioned earlier the relationship between your training and your business, and some of the benefits there. Can you talk to us about some of those benefits that you've seen in your business because of your endurance mindset and the training you're doing?
Yeah, I think uh, the biggest benefit has been uh, the me time. I mean, when I say me time while I train, the time for reflection. I realize that's probably uh, the biggest benefit I've had from the sport because I'm by myself. I've got hours of free time in the morning when I train to think, to reflect upon the previous day, and also, think about the issues that you probably haven't had solutions. So, so that's been my addiction again. I mean, the me time that I get to self reflect on what's happening in my life, what I need to do, bring it up because otherwise I have never had that chance. I mean, you're busy with your life, you wake up, you have a schedule, but this has been the biggest positive. Uh, I think another big benefit that I've got is the focus, because you need to be focused, right? I think even while you train, your sort of social life goes for zero. You learn to say no.
Mm.
Uh, Otherwise, it's not easy. I like a lot of times you are sort of you're forced to be part of a lot of things where you're not able to really come out of it. But now, since you're training, you're very scheduled. You want to wake up on time, you want to train, given all the effort, go back to work, spend time with family, and sleep on time. So that 6 or 8 hours you spend at work is also crystal clear. Your mindset is clear. You're very goal oriented, and I think uh, I'm just a better leader, I feel, at work. While I train. So yeah,
You
I mean, I can talk enough. I think there's so much I've got back from this sport. Honestly, I think you can you can absorb pressure, in a better way. Just like as I said, during the race, you go through so many challenges, so many times you want to give up. It happens at work as well, right? I think the dynamics are very different at work as well. There's so many ups and downs. I mean, I'm handling a new business, this 2 year old, so there are so many teething issues, but you know that you need to endure this. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So that's the beauty of this.
it's so true. Um, you mentioned when you first gained interest in the sport, you found a coach. Are you still working with that coach now?
Yes, I am. I am. So I think I mean, I just Googled somebody that Ironman coach, and then there's something popped up in the city I live in. He's been my biggest inspiration. He's 75 today. He did his first Ironman when he was 71, and he still believes he can do another Ironman, and he's still keeping himself fit. So just imagine, think if he can do it. I mean, that's again been a I mean very inspiring for me to believe that, if he can do it, why can't I do it? And he's given me that faith and belief as well. So I think I mean, having a coach is again been, that learning has been great. After this, I mean, every aspect of my life where I want to really excel in, I have sort of had a coach. I have a life coach. I have a business coach. I have I mean, I also learned piano, Russian piano. So I have a teacher for that. So I think, yeah, it's great to have somebody who you can be accountable for, whom you can every day when I finish my workout, I send him the Garmin link so that he can see it, he views it, he comments it. So it's great to have somebody on top of you.
Yeah, I completely agree. Coaching is essential, and you led into my next question, which is going to be around what other aspects in your life do you have coaching? Um, when did you start having coaching for your life coach and your business coach and your piano coach? Like, was that around the same time as you started taking on this endurance sport, or have you had coaches going back even further?
It was more or less around the same time. While probably a year back, I think I realized the importance of setting goals. So, I mean, I've had another coach. So she's helped me. I think probably I every at beginning of a year, I set up the goal for the year, and then we meet every quarter to review the goals. If I'm on track, if I need to really improve on any aspect. So since then, I mean, right from uh, like as I said, even for my music or for business, I think most importantly, I've had a coach. I think I feel it's very important. It brings out the best out of you. Uh, I mean, like you look at all the athletes, right? I think they're amazing. They're super talented. But I think a lot of time when you hear them talking, they would really credit their coach of bringing out the best in you. So I think I mean I've realized that, and especially with the experience with the endurance races, I think I've realized you can really achieve anything. by having somebody with you who can just probably guide you on the way to achieve the what you want to achieve.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Shifting gears slightly, and you mentioned your business a couple times. I think you said it was 2 years old. Talk to us about your business. What is it? What do you do?
During COVID, I think most of the world was in lockdown, and I had just exited my first business in around 2019. And since then, I've been evaluating what businesses can I get in. So I'd switched to a plant-based lifestyle around that time, where I gave up, meat, dairy, wearing leather in all forms. So I've been quite passionate about it. And at the same time, I found this is an opportunity where, because I was focusing on health and at the same time I was training, I realized, this passion can actually become a business opportunity, because I saw a gap. In US, the plant-based industry is quite huge, but in our part of the world, in India, I think it's still evolving. It's still at the early stage where we're building the awareness. So we got into dairy alternative business. I have a brand called Only Earth, which signifies that we have only one planet. We have to take care of it. We are building awareness around animals that are going extinct. So currently we sell about, we have three SKUs. We have almond milk, we have oat milk, and we have coconut milk. We are currently the market leaders of oat milk in India. We almost have about 60% market share. It's it's a it's been it's been, I mean, it's not even been a 2 years since we have completed, since we started. But it's been a fascinating journey how we've been able to build and scale this business in short time. And now we're, ideas to focus on the Asian market. Currently, we started with India. Now we've added two more countries, and probably in this year we would add five more markets. So we are expanding quite rapidly, and this is a very disruptive product, right? I think uh, similar. I mean, you would have seen in the US, the dairy has declined from 50 years. I think the graph has been going down quite rapidly. India is world's largest producer and consumer of dairy. So the opportunity is huge. It's a $150 billion industry, the dairy. So the over time, plant-based industry is going to be quite sizable because the opportunity is so huge with the kind of population we've got. And the biggest opportunity is that 50% of the uh, population is lactose intolerant. So uh, that's uh, that's going to change things with more awareness being coming in.
Are you looking at other plant-based products for your SKUs? Is that part of your longer term plan?
Yeah, we are. I think, although we'll keep beverage as our, focus, but just around beverage, I think we are getting into every other, typically what a dairy company would be in, like plant-based butter, plant-based cheese, plant-based ice cream, plant-based chocolates. So everything around non-dairy, because I think uh, we are not limited to one particular product. Our hero is oat milk. As I said, I think we are market leaders. So we are building a category around oats, because we feel that's the most sustainable product, I think, compared to, dairy. And I think we are actually, while we expand our portfolio, we're we're giving back in a way. I think in a lot of ways, I think that's my purpose of this business. I think we want to really change the way business is done. We, like most of the businesses or in large economies, I think we tend to exploit the nature, for our benefits, but we don't do anything in return. Here, we've committed of giving back to the environment with every purchase. So 1% of our revenue goes back to the environment. We have three initiatives that we have identified. The first one is ocean conservation, where we plant artificial corals because they're really sensitive. 50% of our corals are already dead, and with rising temperature, the others, the rest remaining ones might also disappear. The second initiative that we work on is afforestation. We planting about 100,000 trees in a wildlife sanctuary in India, where there were a lot of mangroves, but because of again rising water levels. I think, most of them have been washed away. And, mangroves are quite important. I think they absorb 30%, I mean, they're the highest absorbing carbon trees, I would say. And the third one is, protecting the land animals. Because we are expanding so quickly, right? As humans as a race, we are eating away the natural habitat at rapid pace, and there is a lot of animal-human conflict. You see, so we support an agency who rehabilitates these wild animals back in the forest. So overall, I think the business, I think we really want to make a positive impact. That's our objective, with this business.
That that's awesome. Tying back to training, and racing and nutrition, and in particular your plant-based diet, are there certain things that you could? 'Cause I know what my training routine is, and it's a lot of goos and bars, and that like when I'm doing a long distance ride. But as a plant-based nutrition, what types of items are you consuming? Like, how do you think about your nutrition plan for a race, for let's say a long distance Ironman, when you're 100% plant-based product?
So I mean, it's changed over time, and now probably I feel I've understood what my body requires. As I've been on it for last 4 years. Earlier, I was on alternatives, but right now I'm sort of eating as clean as possible. So I try and follow a whole food plant based diet, which is it has a lot of fiber in your meals. So I mean, there is a lot of protein as well. I think we feel we probably need to supplement, but I don't. I mean, very rarely supplement protein. I think, of course, as the training peaks, I think I might supplement with plant based powders. But otherwise, it's just the raw food, a lot of sprouted beans, legumes, seeds, dry fruits, and there's so much in the diet, I think. And uh, in India, I think we grow a lot of millets. So millets are coming back in the food system. So like even in the Indian food, we eat a lot of like dals and the rotis, or the breads that we make. So that at home now we have started, instead of using wheat, we have moved to millet because it's high in protein. So I also have a nutritional coach, for last, probably a year or so, to help me eat right, because I think the the training is quite demanding, right? I think you don't want to really uh, under, give less nutrition to yourself when it requires the most. So I've sort of understood what it requires. I typically start my day with a green smoothie. Probably half a liter of green smoothie with a lot of greens and some hemp protein. I think that's been quite amazing. Uh, so that's how my day starts, and then probably salads, and then as I said, millet based breads. So I try and measure it as much as I can. I've not been really good at it, but I try and measure, how much protein I'm able to consume but with this clean lifestyle. And luckily, it's been relatively easy because, I mean, since I made the switch, I have a couple of other members at home who has also switched to a plant-based nutrition. So then it makes it easy. If you're alone, then it's sort of challenging, to make special meals for you. But now, more or less my home, I think most of the family members are following this, nutritional plan.
So one more follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
Let's say you've got a 100-mile bike ride on your training schedule, eh, by yourself. What are you packing in your jersey and on your bike to support you across that training day?
Yeah. So I mean, for that kind of day, I think I would take a lot of electrolytes uh, with me. I think because I think you're going to dehydrate, and here in this part of the world, it's quite hot and humid. We don't have winters. Literally, I think even now the temperature would be close to about 40 degrees centigrade. So it's quite hot, and so I need to see how I can be hydrated. So,
Mhm.
and I mean, I also have a lot of coconut water, fresh coconut water, which, there are vendors on the same road where I ride. So I probably make pit stop there to, just to rehydrate. And then I carry some health bars and probably uh, a health bars again, which is something very clean. Uh, I mean, there's a brand here which has very clean health bars with just about 3 or 4 ingredients. So it's mostly dates, nuts, those kind of ingredients, and probably a sandwich as well. Just to get some energy back. Uh, yeah, I think, and I do. I think consume gels as well. There are, again, clean gels. We don't get it here. Every time I fly abroad, I probably carry it back with me. So yeah, I think I avoid gels when the training intensity is less, but when it increases, I think you do require it. Just to fuel yourself.
Yeah, that's helpful. Very helpful. Shifting gears a little bit, talk to us about you, like where you grew up, what your childhood was like, how you got into entrepreneurship. We've obviously talked about how you got into triathlon, but let's go back even further. Give us a little bit more insight on who you are.
Yep. I've been in a city called Chennai. It's a city in the south of India. We have a beautiful, coastline. It has the second longest beach in the world. So it's an amazing city. I think great place to live. We've got a large expat community as well here, and so I've done my schooling here all throughout. Then did my engineering. I did my chemical engineering in from Chennai as well. Did my master's in entrepreneurship. I was in UK for a couple of years. And I did my master's in entrepreneurship from University of Nottingham. Since then, once I came back, my family's got businesses, but I have had that entrepreneurial bug in me to set my probably explore some new avenues, scale up the business. So I got back. I joined business or started my business in 2011, and my first business was into packaging, which uh, we work with a lot of FMCG brands to, like food, beverage, and a lot of other products. And so we scaled that business for about 6 years, and we got acquired in 2019. And since then, I started this other brand. But otherwise, uh, I live in a joint family. I live with my, parents, and also my two younger brothers. We have I've got a son, 8-year-old son, and the best part about my journey with the races is that my son and my wife have always been around, and I take them around because that's an added motivation, because they're waiting at the finish line, and you want to see them, crossing the line. So, and it's amazing for I feel that's a great exposure uh, a child gets, right, to see that side of the world, where people are really pushing it hard and making it happen. So that's about me. That's about me. I think I've been really passionate about music. I've been learning piano for about 5 years. Uh, there's a music school here, Ironman Music School. Ironman is a very popular music director. He was the music director of Slumdog Millionaire, the Hollywood movie. And so music has been an important part of my life. I've also done a diploma in electronic music production. I am sort of hooked to electronic music for last 15 odd years. I specifically like progressive house music, and I've made a couple of tracks myself just for fun while I was learning. So yeah, I think I've been, these are areas which I've been passionate about. Health, nutrition, music, uh, and yeah, I think I really want to give back. I think that's been one of our. My family and me, we follow a religion called Jainism. So in Jainism, the first principle is ahimsa, that is non-violence. So my shift towards plant-based lifestyle of giving up animal products is sort of linked to the principle in a way, I think, and also. Uh, it's got a lot of other fundamental principles that it teaches you how to live a simple life, how not to be materialistic. Uh, so yeah, I think I've had a good exposure with the religion as well because of my parents, and that's about it. I mean, happy to answer if there's anything else.
I love the fact that you brought up your kids and racing. And my experience is the same. Our children and my wife, we travel to all of our races. And there is that little extra pressure when you're struggling on the bike and you're thinking about, well, wait a second, what are my girls going to say if I don't come across the finish line in 6 hours or whatever? And it 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 certainly changes your mindset while in your race. Another funny story I'll share. Years ago, we were at the Marine Corps Marathon as a spectator with our two girls, and the youngest turned to my wife and said, "So, mommy, when did they bike and swim?" and, and it's like, "No, sweetie, they're just doing a marathon." And I don't know, it's those funny stories that seeing life through your children's eyes has a special moment. Um, so, how could people get in touch with you? An audience member wants to connect. What's your social media platform of choice?
Yeah, I think I'm quite active on LinkedIn and of course on Instagram. I think I've been trying to be away from digital platforms, but I think because of business, I think I have been told to be as active as possible. So I would love to be in touch with uh, entrepreneurs and people from all walks of life to learn their journey and you and I are part of entrepreneurs organization, which has again been a big part of my life, where I've interacted with triathletes from all over the world. I also founded this group called Ironmans.
Mhm.
This was again a MyEO group which was created to bring in entrepreneurs from all over the world who are passionate about especially triathlons or marathons or long distance races. So I'll it's been great of so much learning, right? I think even talking to you, knowing that you and your wife have done so many races, and so I'm trying to follow those footsteps.
Yeah, it's there's always that other bike that you want to buy when you're middle of the race course and you see somebody pass you on a better bike. It's like, oh, it's the equipment. It's not. Um, well, it's been awesome to have you on the show. Kind of, excuse me. So you got Ironman California coming up at the end of this year. Do you have your eye on a different race for next year? You said you wanted to get another 8 finished over the next 7 years. Um, any in particular race that you're looking to do?
So I would want to do. My first race was in New Zealand, Lake Taupo. I would want to do get back there because that was, I mean, first is always special, right? So
Mhm.
I would want to do a full distance there, although it was a bit challenging with rolling hills. But would want to get there, and there are so many amazing races in Europe as well, like Ironman Switzerland. Austria has got some amazing races. UK, so there's enough in the list. I think I was very grateful I could do Roth last year, which was just amazing. I think I felt like a celebrity with 3 lakh spectators around, about 300,000 spectators. So that was amazing. So looking forward to California. I mean, it's probably my favorite part of United States. So I'm looking forward. I think I've never been to Sacramento, so yeah, looking forward to explore. And this is the best way to actually see the place, right? The race
Mhm.
takes you through all the beautiful parts of the region, and looking forward to that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show. Just thinking back of over this conversation, some of the highlights that really jumped out was our conversation around reflection and gratitude, meditation, visualization, focus, and how those components are part of this endurance mindset and the benefits that that mindset has across our entire lives, both family, community, business, health. So thank you for your inspiration and your storytelling. Canal, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Greg. It was absolute pleasure, to interact with you and also reflect on my journey. I think on the learnings I've had so far. So look forward to, be in touch and exchange your learnings and my learnings and take it from there.
And for any of our audience members, the contact information will be below in our show notes, so, as will a lot of our links to the things that we mentioned. If you do get some inspiration out of our story today, I ask that you share this with somebody else so that we can grow this community together. Kunal, thanks again. Thank you for tuning in to the Chief Endurance Officer podcast. To hear more inspiring stories and strategies around the endurance mindset, be sure to subscribe below or visit us at chiefenduranceofficer.com. Until next time, keep pushing those limits